Enzyme Activity, brought to you by Dominique, James, Henaro, and Taylor. This video presentation focuses on a laboratory that analyzes enzyme activity. The analysis was done to observe the effects of 3 experimental variables on enzyme activity: concentration, temperature, and pH. What is an enzyme? An enzyme is a biological catalyst. It speeds up a reaction by lowering the activation energy. The activation energy is the energy needed for reactants to combine and form products. Enzyme structure. Structure is an important aspect of enzyme activity since the enzyme is a protein. Proteins have shapes that are directly related to its functional ability. They have active sites where substrates bind to form products. The enzyme we will be analyzing is peroxidase. This enzyme is a large protein extracted from a turnip. Using glycol as an indicator to detect the oxidated product as it turns brown, we can measure the amount of activity using a spectrophotometer. We will be testing the 3 factors affecting enzyme activity. Experiment number 1. The effect of enzyme concentration on enzyme activity. Does concentration affect activity? Let's find out. Procedure. Table 1 shows the mixing table for the concentration test. 7 test tubes were filled according to this table. Test tube number 1 is the blank. It was used to calibrate the spectrophotometer. Step number 1. Mix test tubes 2 and 3. Step number 2. The reaction mixture is then poured into a cuvette and placed into the spectrophotometer. Step number 3. Read the absorbances at 20-second intervals. Record the measurements. Step number 4. Repeat methods for tubes 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Results. Here are the results of enzyme concentration on activity. As concentration increased, so did activity, but it has its limits. A graph was created based off the data. Tubes 2 and 3 were found to be the most linear absorbance of the best fit line. The variables are more correlated and can then be used to represent the data. This concentration will be used for the rest of the experiments. Experiment number 2, the effect of temperature on enzyme activity. In this experiment, we focus on 2 questions. How does temperature affect enzyme activity, and what is the optimum temperature for peroxidase? 11 test tubes were made following this chart. They were assigned different temperature settings. Test tubes 2 and 3 were in 4 degrees Celsius, 4 and 5 were in 23 degrees Celsius, 6 and 7 in 32 degrees Celsius, 8 and 9, 48 degrees Celsius, and 10 and 11 were in boiling. Results for experiment 2. A graph was made based off the data of absorbances measured at different temperatures. The graph will not have a linear line. The structure of the protein changes as temperature changes, and function depends on structure. The boiled test tubes were denatured and could no longer function as can be observed on the graph. Rate. Analyzing rate of temperature and absorbance. Enzyme activity peak at about 20 degrees Celsius, a plateau around 40 degrees Celsius, and at 50 degrees Celsius the rate dropped. Experiment 3. The effect of pH on enzyme activity. What's the optimum pH for peroxidase? 5 pH tests were done testing various pH levels: 3, 5, 7, and 9. Table 5 is the mixing table for the pH test. Various pH levels were tested for the following concentration regions in each test tube. Procedure. The same procedures were followed when measuring absorbances using a spectrophotometer. The pH levels were changed. Experiment 3 results. A table was made from the recorded absorbances and made into a graph. Let's look at the pH effect on enzyme activity graph. It shows that the optimum pH level for activity was an acidic pH level of 5. The lowest activity was when it was basic, pH of 9. pH interfered with ionic bonds holding the tertiary structure of the protein, resulting in the lower activity level. Let's look at the rate. The rate of the pH on enzyme activity graph shows us that the rate of pH are inversely related. Increasing the pH lowers enzyme activity. Conclusion. This concludes our video presentation on how concentration, temperature, and pH affects enzyme activity. In conclusion, these three experimental variables do affect enzyme activity. If the factors change the structure of the protein, the functional ability changes as well.